excited to talk about the South Tampa real estate market. We get a lot of opportunities on the show to talk about what's going on in some of the different neighborhoods. And South Tampa is always one of the ones that's most newsworthy and that people want to know about. It's a targeted neighborhood. CNN Money came out with an article this week that I thought was pretty interesting. Living near good schools could cost an extra $200,000 in price. They ran a bunch of studies in the north and the south based on highly rated public schools and then the real estate prices around them. It's one of the things we've always seen in South Tampa has been, a higher than typical price point because of the public schools, Plant High School, all the A-rated elementary schools. And in addition to that, the location. You're in a convenient neighborhood where you can get to pretty much all parts of the bay. It's got its own kind of little peninsula. So the good schools have always driven the price. And we've started to see that recovery in South Tampa a little quicker than we've seen in some other areas. Speaking of South Tampa, one of the things I talked about on the show before that I'm really excited about, we started producing these real estate videos. Not just a kind of a walkthrough video of a house, but with actors and a scene. And we started it, the very first one we did was a house we did in South Tampa. If you're interested in seeing it, it's like a 5-minute movie about a house. It's really cool. It's got actors, and it's called Happy Anniversary. You can check it out at 46sandpiper.com, which is the property address. We did another one up in Old Carrollwood on Lake Lipsey, and that one's it's called Move-In Day. And it's got an actor that acts out, kind of planning the move into the house. So the new thing that we're doing to help market properties, 11606lipsey.com is the website for the one in Carrollwood. But nonetheless, started with the one in Sandpiper in South Tampa. And again, it's partly because, when you're talking about a neighborhood in an area like that, you're selling a lifestyle, not just a location or a neighborhood. And that's some of the things that we're trying to do for marketing homes is bring in the lifestyle of the neighborhood and, show the schools, show all these things visually to people, the malls and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I take a look at those, and they are incredible.
Thank you.
They look like a short music video, but so professionally done. So
thank you.
Those are
so if you want to check them out, again, it's 46sandpiper.com and 11606lipsey.com, which are the street addresses. But speaking of the South Tampa market, so the recovery has really underway in South Tampa. The first quarter of this year, we saw average sale prices, price per square foot, number of sales up across the board. And I wanted to talk a little bit in terms of the trends. So, for example, some of the specific zip codes, like in March 2011, the average price per square foot in the 33609 zip code in 2011 was $104 a square foot. This year it's hovering right around $150 a square foot.
Wow.
That's a big jump.
That is.
Then you look at in 33611, it went from $106 to $107 a square foot, so not as big of a jump. 33629, $164 to $170 a square foot, so again another nice jump. Total in the main South Tampa zip codes, the average price per square foot has gone in the last year from $146 to $156 a square foot, which is a decent, several percentage point gain. Whereas a lot of people aren't, expecting to see those kinds of numbers. We've put properties, on the market recently that were bidding wars. $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 homes in South Tampa where they're just flying off the shelf. So speaking of other aspects of the sales, so same thing, number of sales, 33609. In March 2011, there were 21 sales. There's 26 this year. In 33611, there were 42 sales last year, 55 this year. In all the South Tampa zip codes in March, compared to March of last year, there were 150 sales versus 119 last year. So again, same thing, more sales, better price per square foot. Some of the neighborhoods actually had slightly lower average selling prices because some smaller homes were selling. So, and I think there's a trend of that where people they're not, they're looking more at efficiency and effectiveness than necessarily just bulk size. So they may say, I'd really like a 3,000 square foot house, but if it's a good deal, I'll take a 2,500 square foot house. We're seeing more of that. It's more efficient. Utilities are lower. And then year-to-year comparisons, again, same thing. You look at an area like 33629, 33609, 33611, the South Tampa zip codes, year over year, price per square foot significantly better. Number of transactions from 2009 to 2010, it was 1,239 in that year. 1,388 last year, 1,558 this year. Total volume sold, same thing, a complete escalation from $378 million in South Tampa real estate sold in 2009, 437 last year to 480 in that same period this year. So across the board, the South Tampa market is very healthy.
And I think it's important to say too that those are some of the most targeted areas. And as those prices drive up and people go, well, I don't want to afford to live there, let's look on the outskirts. So it kind of starts in that South Tampa area and then works its way.
You're right.
Out.
You'll have a lot of people who will say, I'd really like to be in the Plant High School district, and then they start to drill down, and it's maybe a little more expensive. Taxes a little higher, price a little higher, insurance a little higher, and then they say, okay, I'd rather. Maybe I'll not live in Plant, but I'll live in Carrollwood, or I'll go out to West Chase, and it's not to say that people don't target other neighborhoods, because there's people that would rather live somewhere else than South Tampa. It's not for everyone, but it is kind of a market that drives other markets, and it's been busy. The absorption rate's another thing we look at. Not much inventory. I mean, under $200,000, there's like 3 months of inventory. Everything's flying off the shelf, and as you climb the price chart, it gets a little bit more saturated. But on average, there's 7, 8, 9 months of inventory, even when you get into the higher price points. If you were to look at the $1 million market in some of the other parts of town, you'd see drastic amounts of homes listed and very few selling. And that's not what's going on in South Tampa right now. So, and the schools, there's a lot of things that drive it. But nonetheless, I wanted to talk about that. We're going to spend some time over the next couple weeks. We're going to have a market segment on West Chase. We're going to have one on Carrollwood. We're going to talk about Fishhawk Ranch, and then we're going to do one on the beaches as well.